Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I am very excited to be sharing today. I think this is a topic I've been asked for quite a long time with these obscure illnesses that come up and symptoms that don't make sense and these conundrums that can't easily be figured out. So I want to welcome everyone who is here live and make sure everyone can hear me okay. And I want to welcome everyone who's listening to the recording or to the podcast. Strange symptoms that don't make sense, strange illnesses that don't make sense. What do we do with this? Things like tinnitus, ringing in the ear, or like a muffled sounds in the ear, and nothing's wrong. You're like, hey, we can't find anything mechanically wrong or physiologically wrong. Brain fog, chronic fatigue, things that kind of, that we don't really have a good understanding of what's going on or what to do in our conventional model. We've got to expand the way we're looking at things and the way we understand the body. So in the conventional model, when we see things as purely physical and we try to address them in a physical way, we need a physical cause and then a physical solution. It's really limited, especially for strange symptoms like this. We've got to expand our awareness to include the body as energetic. Your body is made of emotions, of all your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and what's floating around in there. These are all chemical signals. The quality of your thoughts and beliefs, the quality of your emotions are translated into chemical signals that they affect every cell in your entire body, and they will affect the quality of your health. So we've got to expand into looking at that, what's happening in the energy body, in order to really get a grip on what's going on with all of these strange symptoms. So I want to welcome everyone who's here live. Hello, Randy, Maddie, and Carrie Huya. Good morning in New Zealand. Emily, and I love hearing where people are tuning in from too. Heather and Joanne, Melanie from Minnesota. This is me, Mysterious Melodies. Well, that it doesn't need to remain such a mystery, because as we begin to understand our body in a more expansive way, to understand our energy body, to understand there's more going on than what the conventional model is really pointing toward, it can help a lot. So I'm going to start with talking about tinnitus, because I've had so many questions on this over the past few weeks. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't really well sourced who are experiencing this. It can be really annoying, overwhelming, all encompassing. When you've got like that ringing in your ear and it's kind of disturbing everything, or the muffling in your ear. Dizziness can happen as well when something is thrown off at that level. But if you've been checked and there's like nothing physical that can be detected, or organic medical cause that can be detected, that's when you've got to expand what is your awareness of what's happening. So a lot of times with tinnitus, the way I like to explain it is we are collectively ascending into a higher frequency, a higher consciousness. So we've got the density of the old, I got to plow my way through life. I got to work hard. I'm separate from everyone and everything around me. It's up to me. I got to follow the rules and make it happen. And, life's tough and work it out. And there's a lot of pressure that puts on us. And then there's this whole layer of that's about expectations and what I need to do and how I need to be and what other people expect of me, and all the heaviness of that, and how exhausting that is, and what that does to the body, and the whole layer of that perspective of separation. I got to work hard for money, and then I got to fend for myself, and versus unity consciousness. The universe is on my side. Everything is working out in my behalf. The more I honor myself and receive the joy of life, the more I appreciate being alive, the more resources I receive, the more opportunities open to me, the more resilience my body has, the more energy I have, the more my relationships move in fluidity, and people really see me and love me and appreciate me. Blah, 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 blah. The lightness of that. We're moving into something higher. We're being invited into that. And so as we transition into this higher frequency, and I want to also state the planet is already vibrating at a higher frequency. We can detect this. We have detection devices in satellites way out in space to look at the frequency of the planet. And that's the frequency of like the physical planet and the atmosphere around the planet, and what is the energy in between these two spaces. It has increased dramatically. It was like a 7 point something, and now it's like 90 something, like a lot of increase in a very short period of time. When we first started noticing these in the satellite devices, and I think it was a Russian satellite device that was the first one to catch us, our devices are off, something's wrong, huge spike in the what's called the Schumann frequency. Well, the frequencies have just increased dramatically. And then it was like, no, wow, this is real. This is not a faulty device. This is a real phenomenon. And it continued to go up and to go up and to go up, kind of in a wave pattern. So we've seen that scientifically. What does it mean for us physiologically? We are moving into a higher frequency. So if you move, and this is the way the inner ear works, the ear mechanism, if you have a sound and it's a constant, continuous sound, your body sort of turns down the volume on that and you cancel it out. And what happens is if there's an abrupt change, so that's like if there's constant unchanging thing, you cancel it out so you can focus on the new information and what is happening. If there's an abrupt change, like boom, we just blasted on the volume on a music, or somebody just walked in the room and yelled, it registers really loudly. So if you ever, and you could try this out, like if you have a, that's why people use white noise, is to like cancel out so everything is quiet. You don't hear disturbing noises. It's when you have sudden changes in the frequency that they're registered and they're not canceled out. So that's why if you're, if you ever shut something off, like a background fan, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, it's really quiet. I didn't even notice that sound was on until it went off, because your body is canceling it out. You're not paying attention to it. You're not registering it consciously. The frequency is still there. The sound is still there. It's just not being registered in the conscious mind. When you have an abrupt change in frequency, your ears are sensitive enough to register very, very, very subtle frequencies. And now it's like, whoa, what just happened? And you'll hear a ringing in your ear. Now, I have this happen all the time, and I have had my whole life. And I'm not totally sure how I already knew how to cancel this out, but through relaxing my body and being aware of like, oh, I just ascended a huge octave in frequency, and then my ears will hear that and I'll just relax my body. It's okay. And it fizzles out. Like it's almost like someone just slowly turns the volume down, and then it goes off and I don't have any more ringing in my ear. And it happens, I don't know how many times a month, maybe a couple times a month. And it's not super frequent. And I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it until so many people started asking me about this. And when I realized more tuning into awareness, what's happening is when that ringing happens and we go into fear, oh my God, it's ringing, what's going on? I'm not in control of this. I don't feel in control. We build up tension in the body, and we keep because of that tension and fear, we remain at that lower frequency, and we do not integrate fluidly the higher frequency we're emerging into. So if you just relax your body, it's okay. You'll actually attune to the higher frequency, and now it cancels out the sound because it's no longer new or separate or different. It's the frequency you're operating in, and it will cancel out that ringing in the ear or the disturbance. It's super simple to do, but if you're already really in the tinnitus, and you have been for years and years and years, it can be like, no, like you're not just gonna let go of it. So you've got to go through that calibration to let the body re-equilibrate. You are equilibrating to a higher frequency, and so just relax your body. The Instant Elevation has awesome tools. If you're new to this work and you want to explore that, awesome tools to assist calibration, to assist you in entering unity consciousness and a higher frequency. It's at drkimd.com/IEP, Instant Elevation Program. But that has some tools. A lot of the stuff I share are useful for this. Let your body relax. It's okay to hear and tune into this frequency. It's okay to integrate this higher frequency. And as best as you can, relax your body, because you're allowing that cellular shift and cellular, physical, mental, emotional recalibration to this higher frequency that we're integrating. That is one of the major things that's happening with tinnitus. Same thing with brain fog and chronic fatigue. It's a little different with chronic fatigue. I've seen people will fight because they're trying to make that sort of lower frequency reality work. I've got to fight. I've got to achieve. I got to keep going. I got to push through. I've got to overcome. I've got to be a good person. Like all of the limited beliefs that come in separation. You know, I mentioned earlier in the session here, and then we try to work within them and push ourselves harder and do more and overcome. And then we actually think that we're a bad person if we don't do it that way. Like if I just surrender and let go, I'm losing, I'm giving up. I'm like, it's like a death, but it's really just the death of the ego and the death of all those old beliefs of how you thought you needed to operate and how hard you thought you needed to work and how you were operating in separation. So blocking, receiving. So of course you're depleted. Of course you're exhausted. Of course you're burnt out. The answer is not to push harder. The answer is to open and receive more. Okay, I'm going to look at some of these questions. That can burn out the system so much that you're just like bedbound and debilitated because you're trying to operate in this lower frequency that you have ascended beyond. You're being invited to let things be easier. So let those old beliefs, ideas, memories, assumptions, judgments, let those go so that you can really receive like the new download, which is the same thing I talked about in tinnitus. The new download is this higher frequency calibration of, oh, it can be easy. It can be effortless. I can tune into the truth of who I am. And so by expressing that, allow everything to shift. My nanny, who's been working with us for a while, and she's awesome, told me this morning, Kim, I've taken this other job and I'm not going to be able to nanny with you anymore. And she felt so bad and it was so hard for her. But what she said to me was, I've been listening, not even participating in your work, but just listening in the background of what you've been sharing with other women. And it's really impacted me. And I began to see, I need to honor myself. I need to let these old patterns go. I need to let go of taking care of everyone else. She's been a nurse most of her life. She's a caretaker. She took care of her husband's, her father-in-law till his dying day, and just was always about everyone else. And it was interesting because she had this scare a few weeks back with an abnormality on a mammogram. And I immediately tuned into her energy and was so aware of all of this energy in her system of give, do for others, make people happy, accommodate others, do what they need. And I, in my own relationship with her, energetically released that. Honor yourself. Honor yourself, release that pattern, let that go. That is not how you need to operate. Didn't even have a conversation with her. So she took my hands today and said to me, and she had tears in her eyes, I have actually learned this from you, and I want to thank you. It's made all the difference in my life to let go of others' expectations and really honor what's right for me. And I'm really sorry, but this is where I'm going. And I was actually really grateful just to connect with her this way. She's so beautiful. And I said, you know, I'm aware that if this is what you're being inspired and called to, that it's going to serve all of us, everyone involved, and that I will welcome in a totally different situation that serves me and is an even better equation for me, that as you honor yourself, it's going to arrange all the parts accordingly and that everyone will receive more. But the point is, it required a huge upgrade for her to let go of the old belief system she had about, I got to do for others, I got to be for others, I got to contribute to others, I have to help others, and put myself to the side. And like, that's exactly what creates the energy of breast cancer. Breast is where we nurture others. We're giving to others. We're nurturing our world. And the breasts have the energy of that. And so they will be depleted when we do nurturing others from depletion, nurturing others from not honoring ourselves, as opposed to nurturing others from the overflow of our own fulfillment. You really, if you can't make breast milk if you're not feeding and nurturing yourself. So it's the same thing energetically, and your breasts are listening. Got to let go of thinking you need to be here to nurture others and take care of others beyond what is truly fulfilling for you, beyond giving from the fulfillment of your own heart. So really, I nurture myself. And the more I nurture myself, if it is my organic essence, that's going to pour out in these specific ways of being inspired to assist others or in something else entirely. So always we have to nurture ourselves first. Okay, hello from Elaine from BC, Canada, and Jess, hello. Stacy from Chicago, woohoo! I know it's like cold and snowy out there today. Cindy from Canada, Nicole, Huya, okay. I have more stuff. Okay, Heather says, what if the detoxing is so horrible at times? You can't function or even think. You just want to die to stop it at times. How do you tell your body to go more gentle? If you show love, won't your body go at a pace that you can bear? It's really important to let your body receive light, receive crystalline light. That's appreciation, joy, love, even just relaxing and relief. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I feel so good and I love my life. It can just be, oh, what if I could let go of all these burdens and give myself a break and have it be okay? So it could just be a relief. So letting yourself connect with the frequency of that crystalline light, or you could see crystalline light coming through your body and let your body relax. So connecting with the frequency of that will transmute lower energies. So your body doesn't have to do the heavy lifting, and you can let your body know, body, we don't need to process it that way. I'm ready to be on board for this. I'm ready to be in conjunction and in a collaboration with my wisdom and what you're asking me. I'm ready to allow all of this and so much more yes to this. We no longer have to operate in a fight and in resistance. That's huge, especially with chronic fatigue, because I know when I had this chronic fatigue, it was really scary. And the only thing I could do was fight against it and push against it and try to get help and try to figure out how to micromanage my physiology and get that released. Because obviously it will show up in lab tests and lab studies, in your microbiome. Like everything shifts when you're in a different frequency. But none of it really made a difference until I got into the resilience of surrender and let go of the fight, so that there could be, all that was in store was a recalibration. And you got to kind of like turn off to allow that to happen. So it might just be like 10 minutes of totally shutting down, or maybe it's a couple days, or a couple hours, and you just let your body receive all it needs. There are upgrades. You're uploading awareness, you're uploading information, and that happens on a really subtle level. So you can't be engage and fast and go and allowing that to be received. So Heather, thanks for your question. A lot of times it's about opening to receive more. What needs to happen in order for me to do that? Zabi, Rose McGregor, through this work, my heart and I had a real conversation yesterday. It felt so much freedom in knowing. Thank you for all your videos. You're welcome. I love sharing them. Here we go. Nancy, today I'm so worn out for some reason. I felt great a few days ago, but today I feel so draggy. What do I do? I would invite you to really go with the flow. There are a lot of energies moving right now. We just had a huge lunar eclipse. It is the beginning of a new year. There are tons of new energies associated with that coming in. And these are like energy portals. So just like I'm telling you right now, the frequency of, what if I could let it be easy? What if, as I celebrate myself, my body becomes more alive? As I celebrate myself, I open to new ideas effortlessly. As I celebrate myself, life moves through me, and I effortlessly create amazing things. I effortlessly contribute to the world. What if I could get on that channel? That is a frequency. Do you see that? You could feel it. It's like, oh. Or you'll also feel the opposite of it. If you're in resistance, say that's too far a higher frequency, you'd be like, oh, what the heck is she talking about? Yeah, I wish I could have that. Oh, but it just feels hopeless. Okay, great. You're being in touch with the hopelessness that's preventing you from this integration. So just feel that hopelessness, nurture that hopelessness, bring in light, honor the hopelessness, let it be transmuted. Now, if you're even further away from that frequency, you're like way down here, and I'm talking about this, what you'll perceive is, who's this light, fluffy, airy fairy chick? And what the hell is she talking about? And what the heck does she know? She's just way too happy. And then you'll turn the channel. So I'm not really speaking to that person, because that person's not going to be here for more than a split of a second and be bored. And like, it's like if I'm speaking German or Swahili or a language that just makes no sense, you wouldn't stay engaged in the conversation. So even if this is hard, and even if you feel hopelessness of like, oh, why is she so happy? And yeah, I can't have it. Or especially, I know for a lot of people with chronic fatigue, it can be a lot of resistance. So you're in a really low frequency, and this can actually make you angry. Like, how dare you say chronic fatigue isn't a physical phenomenon that needs to be dealt with physically. And I've had that a lot. I've had people actually say, how dare you say my illness isn't real? And I would never say that. That's not the language or the conversation that I'm having, but it can be received that way. And then it's like I've had a lot of hate mail on certain YouTube videos I've had that are about chronic fatigue. So I don't really speak to that. So anyway, the point I'm making is it can bring up a lot of resentment or anger. Great. Let it come up, better out than in. And I always tell that to my daughter, like, she'll blow her nose or cough and spit something up and be like, ooh. And I'm like, better out than in. And, it's just got to let these energies go. So honor what's coming up for you with this, because it's better out than in. If you're holding that toxicity in, it's going to affect you first and foremost, more than anyone. Okay, Nancy. So I would say to let yourself be in this calibration. It's a huge one, and it's okay. The fact that you're still able to even hear this, it just says that you're ready to integrate this higher frequency of, I let my life be easy. I'm in sync and flow with life and allow myself to receive effortlessly. If you're in that space, or if you've been hearing that, it doesn't matter what it's bringing up, or it can bring up confusion, because it's literally recalibrating your entire mental processing. Here's the world I understand. I got to fight. I got to fend these bad people. I got to do this, blah, blah, blah. I got to make sure I get what I need in that fight. But at least you understand it. At least you know the rules. At least you know how to operate that way. Well, that is no longer working. It's going to short circuit your system. You're going to be depleted and exhausted. And you'll actually find like it doesn't work anymore. So the confusion of like, what? How do I do that? What are you talking about? I don't get it. Your mind's trying to wrap itself around what I'm saying, and it will bring up confusion. Great. You don't need to figure this out. You can never figure this out. But what's happening is you're witnessing the dissolution of the old grasp of reality, where you did understand and you did have it all figured out and it did all make sense and I got the ability to operate this way. So it's the dissolution of that. It's okay. You will reintegrate something else even more solid that really serves you. So whatever this is bringing up for you, I would say to let yourself go through that. And the brain fog is a huge part of that, because it's like if I'm trying to update my computer, but I'm using it, you know how it says you've got to turn off and restart your computer in order to have this update. Because your system's got to reboot everything. So you've got to turn off so it can turn back on. So let it shut off, and as best you can release the resistance that you have to that. I did an episode on insomnia maybe like a month ago, and it was all about like the wrongness of shutting off, the wrongness of sleep. It's embarrassing if someone catches you falling asleep, or even if you're tired. The purposeless. Why should I sleep? We can sleep when we die. There's no purpose in sleeping. All the wrongness we've made to turning off. And these are outdated concepts. Scientifically, we have seen that amazing things happen in sleep, tons of brain activity, tons of reintegration, tons of rewiring and neuroplasticity, and amazing things happening in sleep. It is not a meaningless, inactive, purposeless process at all. Sleep away. So let yourself turn off so you can receive and let the new thing turn on. Nina says, having illness and symptoms where doctors don't find a reason or a cure for me has been a constant issue in my life in the last 18 years. Also, the diagnoses I do have aren't resolving, no matter what direction in healing I've taken, be it medically or spiritually. I don't know what's going on. It's hard to keep believing and receiving that healing is still possible. One of the things that happens, and always when I see this pattern, we're in a pattern where nothing's working for me. There aren't resources. So that's your 3D reality. And if you have like the 3D glasses on, the virtual reality glasses, you're in this virtual reality, but here you are. This is the real you. It's just like that in this 3D. There's connecting with the source of who I really am to allow a change in what's happening out there, what I see in the virtual reality glasses. But if I'm engaging in that virtual reality, oh, this is happening. Oh my God, someone's attacking me. Oh my God, someone just shot me in the leg. Oh, I feel, now I can't walk. I don't feel like a whole person. It's going to change how you feel. Now, it's a virtual reality, but it shifts your physiology. It shifts your brain patterns. It shifts all of the chemistry in your body, your adrenals, your thyroid. It changes everything happening within your actual real physical body, even though it's just a virtual reality. And it's the same thing. You're paying attention to certain information. It's short-circuiting your nervous system. It's deteriorating and imbalancing your immune system. everything in your body is affected. So what if you can shift and come into a higher frequency so that then you allow resources to appear? This always works. How do I come into a higher frequency? I'm in pain. How do I come into a higher frequency? This is unacceptable. Take a few breaths and be with what you're experiencing. So what you're experiencing, even though the experience is, doctors tell me they don't know, or even spiritual stuff doesn't work, or no one has a clue. What I'm experiencing is frustration. If I go deeper, take a few deep breaths, what I'm experiencing is hopelessness. So feel the heaviness of that hopelessness. And just anchor in light, bring in light. It's okay. Tell your body it's okay to feel this. How do I feel that hopelessness? It feels despair. So you're just going to be in your awareness, the observer, bringing in light, and feel what seems like never-ending despair, endless despair, and just feel it, breathe it, witness it, honor it, make space for it. You allow it to be transmuted just by your breath. Conscious breathing, full, complete breathing. Breathing in light, exhale, releasing despair, or we're just honoring the despair, feeling the despair, making space for the despair. That is what you're experiencing. So when you transmute that despair, 5 breaths, okay, you might feel just 2% lighter. That 2% is an energy frequency. It's a shift in your consciousness. It will always create a shift in your reality. Now, to maintain it or just keep revisiting it, you might need to practice it over a day or 2 or 3, or like me, it was like 10. Keep practicing it to really integrate, like letting your body know, yeah, I'm really serious about releasing this old pattern of fighting and suppressing the despair. I really am capable, ready, and willing to fully feel and allow the despair. Mara, hello, beautiful. Welcome. Hello, beautiful Tanya. Okay, Rachel says, what about symptoms of candida overgrowth? This has always been blamed on me having chronic fatigue and being run down. But I'm so much stronger physically and do not feel run down. Yet I still get these symptoms despite having improved other areas of my life. Is there resistance or fear somewhere in my system? I've tried sugar-free diets, etc. Yeah, so dealing with it on the physical level isn't really going to do everything you need. But this same thing, shifting your frequency, and there are awesome breathing methods. I've recently been introduced to, I think it's, let me just get the site. An awesome breathing method that I've been using every day. I'm only on like day 5, so I seriously am going to wait until I'm further along, like a full month out. But there's no question, it's been massively impactful. I'm going to include the link here for those of you who are live. And there's going to be more on that later. I'm pretty convinced because it's like having a cup of coffee. I do this breathing method in the morning and it's really powerful. So I'll include the link here in the thread. But I do think you'll be hearing more on that from me. Be sure you're subscribed to drkimd.com and I'll share more information about that. Okay. And that has been shown in even just pranayama breathing, yogic breathing, to recalibrate the chemistry in your body, the acid-base balance, the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance, and to increase the frequency physically so that mentally and emotionally we're actually purging away old energy, old emotions, old ideas. Like really, really powerful to use breathing to incorporate with this. Honoring your body, like feeling your body, sensually touching your body, moving with music. I know I've mentioned before that I've created liquid dance. We're going to come out with that in a couple of months, so I will share that with you. But it's a way of connecting with your sensuality, to pay attention to what you sense, to feel and honor what you sense. Just that alone has been shown to bring about changes in the brain and changes in your chemistry that release these old patterns where Candida can hang on, or Lyme or Epstein-Barr virus can hang on, because there's a lower frequency resonance that you're holding that matches that lower frequency resonance of those pathogens. So you're a good host. Yes, fear, all of those energies are aligned with that. So doing some breathing, even just the breathing I teach in the instant elevation, is very, very powerful. It's super easy and you can do it anywhere, like while you're giving a Facebook live broadcast or at a stoplight or nurturing your child or cooking dinner. That's why I created that program, is to make it really applicable. Ivy says, I've had high ringing. Only thing my doctor could find was a left blocked eustachian tube. So that can be certainly a part of it. It's definitely worth getting things checked medically to resolve what's happening physically. Randy, where I keep getting confused and going back and forth is I'm all on board with our thoughts and beliefs and emotions create a reality and physical state. But how do I find that balance between when to reach for a better feeling thought and all of that versus what you resist persists and just being with how you feel to let it move? It feels like a paradox. It depends on the frequency you're at, what's going to serve you the most. Sometimes you're at such a low space that you're like, oh, I just got to try to feel better. But that's like a burden. So just embrace what you feel. And when in doubt, embrace what you feel, because that will bring about more lightness. And then you don't have to reach for a better feeling thought so much as it's already coming in. It will just occur to you. So if you just start with, Kim, it's okay to feel what you feel right now, as stuck as you feel, and as miserable as you feel, and as heavy as you feel. I love you, and it's okay, and you're exactly where you need to be. And then take 3 breaths. And that alone will bring about the idea of like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or oh, I've been here before and it did shift, or oh, maybe something really big is happening for me and this is a good thing. So the thought can just come. So always go for letting yourself be as receptive as possible. And if it feels like effort to try to shift it, don't try to shift it. The shift happens automatically. Okay, Nancy from Oregon. Woohoo. Okay, let me see what other comments we have. I'm so excited to see everyone here. All right, so I am going to be posting this. We will email it out. Make sure you're subscribed at drkimd.com. Courtney says, crazy. I just got interested in that method of breathing last week. Yeah, it's funny. I've mentioned it to 2 of my private clients. Both of them, or no, one of them had 2 experiences with it that she's like, oh my God, just this week, it was mentioned in a book I was reading. And so it's kind of funny. Says, I'm trying to help myself, but I feel some great perception shifts. And I felt some great perception shifts, but my immunity still continues to react to foods. Yeah, so give it a few minutes, give it the time that it needs, because the physical, so first will shift energetically, and then the physical will reflect that. Keep feeding yourself energetically. Drink in crystalline light, nurture yourself, touch yourself with love. I love you, I love you, I love you. It's okay to feel just what you feel. Your body drinks it in. That will rebalance your nervous system, your immune system, but that will also open you to more resources like, oh, hey, here's this cool supplement, or oh, I just read this article and that sounds like a good idea, or oh, there's this breathing method. And you'll open your perception and receive a lot of things that can contribute to you. All right, so Emily, and if in doubt, she says, if in doubt, embrace how you feel. Yes, I will remember that. Thank you. All right, well, this is going to complete our MindBody TV episode. I am just sharing love with you. I know we are going through a really intense time right now, so just be aware. I shared something actually in the MindBody community last night that I came across, and it's this woman who is intuitive. She's using cards to find the meaning and expression of things, and I think some astrology. But some of the things she said were so spot on and really rang true for me and for the people I've been working with. I thought this is a great perspective of how to understand what's going on. It's like it's a death of all the old, but if you find that space of willingness, I am willing to reside in this heaviness. I am willing to reside in this strife that I find myself in. I am willing to stay right here and be present and to live beyond this, even though it's the freaking hardest thing I've ever imagined. We'll move through. The other thing that's come up a lot in the last couple of weeks is everything we've done and integrated to this point has been for this moment right now and what we're emerging into. We are emerging into a higher consciousness. This will begin to be more and more evident, but it's like all the things you've learned mentally, spiritually, emotionally, nutritionally, everything has been so that you are prepared for what's happening right now, so that you are allowing yourself to receive what's happening right now and release what's moving out right now. So you may find, wow, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone. Like everything I've ever had in my life is coming up, like rearing its ugly head. Oh my God, all the fear of this, or the tension with my father, or the fear of with lack, or like whatever is coming up times a gazillion. It isn't because you haven't worked on it or you're back there again. It's because you're ready to let it move through without fear, without engaging it, without repressing it, without controlling it, without suppressing it, and doing battle with it, but to just like let the dragon move through and fly away and dissolve. There's actually a dissolution of these energies when you release them and surrender. So it isn't because you haven't worked on it. It's because, so you'll feel this is like the hardest thing you've ever dealt with in a way. And then you'll also feel somehow you actually have everything you need to move through it consciously. So just stay conscious. The energies are moving. They are super intense, but you'll always see, wait, I do seem to have everything I need to take that next breath. And so you take that next breath. All right, so welcome. For those of you who are new, I'm super excited to receive your questions, and I'll be tuning in the MindBody community. We'll post this to YouTube, so you can subscribe there as well. And I'm at drkimd.com if there are ways you'd like to go deeper. And yeah, there are a lot of resources there. So lots of love to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.